Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Military Mind, bringing you news from the front lines. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. Ukraine's Air Force said it destroyed 154 out of 183 drones launched by Russia in a large-scale attack on the country's civilian infrastructure overnight on Monday. Local authorities confirmed drone strikes in 11 different locations. In Ukraine's Dnipro region, 5 people were wounded as Russian drones struck residential areas. According to the head of the regional military administration, around 15 private houses, 1 apartment block, and other civilian infrastructure were damaged. In the Chernihiv region, an energy facility was hit, leaving more than 4,500 households without power and 2 people wounded. In Kherson, 2 people were killed and another wounded when a Russian drone hit a civilian car. Meanwhile, Ukrainian energy company DTEK reported that one of its thermal power plants was also targeted. 2 workers were wounded and plant equipment sustained serious damage. Repairs are currently underway. The company says its thermal power plants have been attacked more than 200 times since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion, with strikes on energy and gas infrastructure ramping up in recent weeks as winter approaches. And moving to Russia, in the city of Belgorod, a drone attack struck a sports complex. Local authorities say 3 people were killed and 1 injured, while rescue workers believe more people may still be trapped under the rubble. On the front line, Ukrainian volunteer Serhiy Sternenko reported that a large Russian assault near Konstantinivka was repelled. He said the Russian command sent a mechanized column into battle, assuming bad weather would ground Ukrainian drones, but several Ukrainian units coordinated a counterattack, inflicting heavy losses on Russian equipment and personnel. Further south, near the base of the Dobropilya salient, Ukrainian forces have established so-called kill zones, that defensive areas designed to destroy advancing Russian troops or vehicles through a combination of fortifications and drone strikes. At the same time, analysts say Russian forces have cut the Pokrovsk to Dobropilya road south of Liman and established fire control over this key supply route. While on a combat mission, Ukrainian soldiers traveling by car spotted a Russian FPV drone tracking them down. Now assessing the threat, they acted quickly, stopping the vehicle and opening fire. Despite the drone's attempt to strike, the crew was unharmed and the vehicle remained intact. The incident highlights the importance of attentiveness, quick reactions, and weapons handling, critical skills for Ukrainian soldiers in drone warfare where every second counts.
Посадку, посадку!
Дай зброю! Ебаш, ебаш!
Повезло, в машину! В машину! В машину! В машину!
On one section of the front line, FPV drone operators from Ukraine's territorial defense carried out a coordinated operation, delivering a precision strike on a position where a group of Russians were hiding. Intelligence had indicated a high probability of Russian personnel in the dugout. After confirming the target, the operators launched a strike craft, and the operation was executed within minutes. The attack was accurate, the position was destroyed, and Russian firepower was taken out of action. The Signum Unmanned Systems Battalion from Ukraine's 53rd Mechanized Brigade continues its systematic efforts in the Crimea area, where wooded terrain has long been the site of many an ambush. According to reports from the scene, Signum operators detected and targeted a TOS-1A MLRS system used by Russian forces to strike shelters and pressure Ukrainian positions. Operations at this level have both tactical and psychological effects. They disable expensive and dangerous enemy hardware while also undermining the motivation of Russian troops who can no longer safely conceal key assets in wooded areas. Soldiers from Ukraine's 42nd Separate Mechanized Brigade have shared footage that clearly shows how the war has changed over the past 2 years. The widespread use of FPV drones has turned the front line into a conditional boundary. Now, anyone, anywhere can come under attack. Videos filmed by the soldiers themselves show that it's impossible to feel safe even as far as 40 kilometers from the line of contact. What used to be the rear, logistics, repairs, evacuation, is now targeted by enemy FPV operators hunting for Ukrainian equipment and personnel. This time, there was a happy ending, but the very fact that such attacks are happening in the deep rear shows that with drones in the field, war no longer has front lines, only risk zones of varying intensity.
Грані, шкіпер, у нас 45 в'єбав. Розвертайся.
Летить на оптиці, блядь.
А, сука, все, хуй, блядь! Машина не їде. Машина не їде.
Що ти, старий? Здавай посадку нахуй.
A new video from the temporarily occupied Donetsk region shows another example of Russian military field tuning. The Russian soldiers turned a civilian Moskvich car into an improvised armored vehicle by simply attaching a BMP-1 turret to it. Apparently, the Russians' engineering team tried to create something like an assault vehicle with minimal armor protection and ability to fire. Now, in reality, the design looks like a death trap for its crew. The extra weight tilts the body, and the turret itself has no stabilization system or proper mounting.
Аппарат. С БМПшки нахуй на москвич ебанули. Красавцы.
Зверюга, бля.
And with that footage, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.